The following program contains the opinions of the host, guests, and call-in participants. These do not necessarily represent the views of this show's distributors or sponsors. This program may contain obscene, profane, or otherwise objectionable language. Viewer discretion is advised. Coming to you cordless, everybody, from Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's 11:02 on the East Coast of the United States, 8:02 on the West Coast, 10:02 where I'm sitting here in flyover country, and I'm Jim Peters. And welcome once again to Jim Peters at Night. I think this is episode 25, if I'm right. We're starting our ninth week. We were supposed to start it yesterday, but I was not here. Let me tell you why I wasn't here. My wife is out of town last week. My friend Howie calls me up and says, Jim, let's go out to dinner Friday night. Okay, fine. Sure. All right. Now, I have to tell you this. I don't know if you've been following the weather here. I don't know why you should. It's been ridiculously warm here the last couple weeks. I mean, all right. So, for the first day in October, yesterday, we not only set a record high temp for the day, it was 92 degrees, I think it was. We set a record for any day in October ever that being that hot. So on Friday, it was about 88, 89. And the one thing about Minneapolis and the Twin Cities in general, there's more water here than anywhere actually in town. We have lakes all over the place. I mean, that's not a rumor or anything or an exaggeration. It really is. So Howie and I went over to Wayzata, which is on the west side of town, kind of the affluent part of town, Lake Minnetonka, which you probably heard about because Prince sang about it all the time. And we went to an outdoor bar there, and we're sitting. And I'm telling Howie, I'm saying, I'm kind of tired. I'm dragging. He said, I have an idea here. He said, "Have an espresso." Now, normally, I'm not a coffee drinker. Occasionally, sometimes after a meal, but and I was working on a Coke because I knew if I had any alcohol at all, I'd be out. And I don't handle. Howie calls me Edgar Allan Poe because I don't know if you know this. Edgar Allan Poe he didn't have an alcohol problem. He had the opposite of an alcohol problem. Only took home a tiny little bit of alcohol to get him drunk on his ass. And I kind of have the same problem. And I also puts me to sleep. So, we're at so I said, okay, so I have a Coke, a regular Coke, and he got me, he ordered me an espresso. I'm drinking espresso. Now it's okay, I'm two-fisting caffeinated beverages, okay? So, and I had two of each. And then we went to the Butcher's Tail in downtown Minneapolis, a very expensive restaurant. I'll tell you, I don't do this very often. I don't. We have two people. We ran up $400 for dinner. Yeah, I know. It's yeah. There's little kids in Bangladesh. I know who are starving. I understand that, but it's the food there is incredible. I ended up sitting. We sat at the bar to eat, and I ended up sitting next to a woman who just became the new marketing director of this company, and she's there actually trying out the food because she wanted to try all the stuff on the menu. So there, I had two scotches, my drink of choice, and so and we went there because Howie says, Jim, I know you like pork chops. They have the biggest, baddest pork chop in town, and it was. It was about the size of Arkansas, and it's enormous, and it's very, very good. It's fantastic, and I ate it all. I ate it all, and I had 2 scotches on top of 2 espressos and 2 Cokes, and I get home, "Bye, you'll see you later," like I said, my wife is gone for the weekend, and so I come home, and the next morning, Saturday morning, to say I felt like shit, it would be a total understatement. Mine it was way worse than a hangover. Those all that caffeine and all the alcohol collided in my head, and oh my god. Not to mention the fact now I've eaten more food. I've eaten food that's basically bigger than my head, and I have a huge, enormous upset stomach. And I gotta admit, I was down for the count for basically 3 days. So I took yesterday off. I could not function at all. I'm better now. I'm fine. Matter of fact, I even showered tonight. I look kind of clean, don't I? and I put pants on. My wife says, a lot of times you never see me from the waist down, and she says, someday you're gonna have to stand up, you're gonna get caught. So I thought, okay, yeah, right, fine. All right, so what do we got going on? Okay, our ninth week. Jeff Meyer, the publisher of Clunk News, is going to be on Thursday. Don't have a guest tonight. Don't have a guest for tomorrow. Don't know what's going to happen. I'm yakking for you. That's what I do. And next week, I'm just going to give you a heads up right now. Next week, I won't be here on Thursday. We're not going to do a show on Thursday. I'm taking a long weekend uh, uh, to the UP in Michigan. That's the Upper Peninsula for those of you who are not in the Midwest. That little part of Michigan that's not connected to the mainland, that's floating out there in the Great Lakes. That's where I'm going. The long planned. Do this every year, same week. Meet some friends there. It'll be fun. I have friends. I know. Who the hell will know? You know. So and we have guests coming up for next week too. Um, and so yeah, we're planning. We're working it, man. I'm working the room. That's what I'm doing. Okay, and so I don't know if you saw the description we posted on Rumble and everywhere else for this episode. It's called "Dogs and Cats Sleeping Together." That's why I named it. Okay, so now you probably know this. I don't know if you heard. It's 11 p.m. on the East Coast, but this happened now quite a few hours ago. Kevin McCarthy has been removed as Speaker of the House of Representatives of the United States Congress. First time ever the House has removed its Speaker. First time ever in history, over 200 years. And first of all, my problem with this is that, or telling you this is not really a news show, but I always try to impart the news that I don't think you know. And since you know that, and probably know, if you're a news junkie, you probably, read and listened to it umpteen enough. So at this point, you maybe know more than I do. But the thing is, it's also the type of story where there's not a lot of facts. Okay, there's not a lot to impart. He got removed. The vote was 216 to 210. 19 Republicans voted along with all the Democratic caucus, which put them over the top, which is the reason he got removed. Matt Gaetz spearheaded this whole thing. I'm watching about 2 hours ago, I watched Newt Gingrich on Hannity on Fox News, who is arguably the most successful Speaker of the House, maybe the last 100 years, maybe, in terms of what he accomplished, and also in terms of the barriers that were set up for him too. I mean, when he came in, he did not have a majority, and then they mustered the first majority in the House in 40 years. But the thing is, this is the part I don't understand. Now, Matt Gaetz, the representative from Florida, he spearheaded this whole thing, and I don't understand why. And also, I got to admit, I don't understand Gaetz. I can't tell if he's a true conservative and really, really, really sticking up for the cause, or if he's a lunatic. I honestly don't know. So the scuttle supposedly is that now I don't know if you guys remember this, and there's a good reason you might not remember because amazingly this happened like 3 years ago, and the House Ethics Committee. Well, what happened 3 years ago is that a bunch of Democrats accused Matt Gaetz of sexual assault. And it was completely bogus. It was totally bogus, at least as far as I could tell. And the House Ethics Committee did a investigation and did a report. The report's never been released. Supposedly, it's never even been released to Matt Gaetz. He's never even seen it. No one has seen it. And I understand that there's a lot of personal animosity here regarding that investigation. Somehow, um, Gaetz thinks that McCarthy helped the Democrats do this or something. Anyway, there's extremely bad blood between these two guys. But, do the rest of us have to suffer? I keep talking about the Democrats acting like babies all the time, acting like high school kids. Well, shit. Here's another example. It's not the Democrats, it's the Republicans. And Newt Gingrich said this, and Donald Trump said this afternoon after this happened. You know, it seems like the Republicans, as soon as they kind of get a head up and they're on the way to actually like crushing democratic ideology. I mean, they were just kind of getting their shit together here, and now this is going to throw a wrench in the whole thing. And who knows? I mean, it might come back to bite them in the ass. It's hard to feel sorry for these guys. It is. I mean, what the hell are you doing? And what the hell, Matt Gates? What the hell are you doing? You know, I mean, the way I understand this, and I don't understand it very well. I've got a lot of questions here. I'm very confused. But the way I understand this, the general consensus seems to be that they blew this up for no reason whatsoever, just other than the fact that Gates wanted to. And maybe there's a few Republicans. I do understand. They're saying that McCarthy went back on his word that they really wanted to put up a fight for a balanced budget amendment on this continuing resolution to fund the government. Yes, the government spends too much money. I do also understand at what point does it stop? You know, it's not going to be pretty stopping it. It's got to stop sooner or later. It will stop, or else the country will go bankrupt. And then, you were talking about the loss of democracy. Well, there you go. I'm so tired of hearing the Democrats talk about, it's a threat to democracy, blah 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 blah. And Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. No, he isn't. He's already been president once. It went fine. Matter of fact, it went better than fine. That's the reason people, I just don't believe these liberals. They get on TV on Sunday morning and they say, I don't understand why so many people support Donald Trump. He did a good job. That's the reason. You want an example of a bad job? What's going on right now? This is terrible. I mean, the whole country. Have you stopped to think about the fact how far we've slid in the last just 3 years? Or actually, yeah, 2.5. I mean, you can draw a line on Inauguration Day, January 20th, 2021, and from that point, slowly and then we get to Afghanistan, 5 months later, the whole thing blows up. Quickly, it all goes to hell. All of it. So you wonder why people support Donald Trump? Well, there you go. Somebody said, "Oh, there's this supposed intellectual named Sam Harris who's talking about the fact that the reason the the, the elite class hates Donald Trump is because he blew up all the norms." Yeah, but somebody's got to do a good job. I don't care about the norms. I don't give a fuck. This whole thing is just weird. I don't know. I need to get Mark Tapscott from the Epoch Times on here. I gotta call him tomorrow. Maybe we can get him on next week. I have a guest. We have a guest for next Monday. Not going to announce it yet because we haven't actually completely pinned it down. But we're gonna be doing that. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, Tapscott will know because Tapscott is on intimate terms with most of the people in the House and Senate. So the thing is, I don't have a lot more to talk about this. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know much more than you know. You know, but all I know, it's like the Republicans can't seem to never be able to get their shit together. Never. Whereas the Democrats, and you got to give them credit for this, they're a block. They stay together no matter what. I mean, they stay together even if people think what's going on is evil. They still stay together. They're like a beehive colony, if you ask me. You're talking about collectivism. You're talking about socialism, collectivism. These people, they're collective. That's all there is to it. They stay together. And although ideologically, I think they're nuts. At least the far level liberal left ones. I got to give them credit for that. You do. The Republicans, they bicker among themselves constantly. How conservative are you? Are we going to figure? Do we have to figure this out? There's a bunch of navel gazing. You know, I don't know. It kind of pisses me off, as you might notice. So what else happened today? I'll tell you what else happened today. Speaking of Democrats and Republicans, our friend David Strom over at hotair.com, the associate editor there, I got to get him on there too. They got too many people who are writing and saying too much important stuff. Any rate, he did you can see it on Hot Air. He posted this morning. He did an article there about the fact that a poll by Real Clear Politics that was very well done. It's more of a survey than a poll, so it has some scientific, mathematical credibility. Basically proved, and the pollsters even admitted this. Basically proved that, yeah, liberals want to censor people from saying shit more than conservatives. Yeah, I'm not. I won't get into the actual weeds here and how they figure this out, and also what it is on the numbers. But yeah, it's pretty stark. Especially when it comes to social media. The liberals and the conservatives seem to agree on not censoring the press, but when it comes to social media, it's quite stark. Liberals think social media should be censored by the government, and conservatives don't. And also, I'm pulling this out of my head here. I don't want to read while I'm talking to you. I don't want to do that. The other thing I don't like to do too is I don't like to show web pages on the screen. I have the ability to do that. I've done it occasionally, but the thing is, generally, you can't read them, and it's like tiny little pictures, and fuck it, you know. But the one thing they ran a statement. One of the polling questions, survey questions was uh, evaluate this statement. I strongly disagree in what you have to say, but I'll defend to the death your right to say it, which has been a constant, theme of First Amendment issues for ages. And it is astonishing. The majority of the Democrats disagreed with that statement. They said, no, we won't do that. Whereas the Republicans, it was like 83 or 84% agreed or something like that. It's not it's not in our minds. That's the point. I mean, that's the reason I'm bringing this up, and that's the reason David Strum wrote the article. It's not in our minds. The liberals really do want to censor speech. They really do, and especially they fool themselves. And this is also in the survey too about the fact they fool themselves about speech. It's they basically want to censor speech they don't like, or that disagrees with them. It's like if it's something that agrees with them, they're okay with that. But it's unbelievable. So we had, a matter of fact, I finally got around. I sent him a thank you note a couple days ago. Patrick Moore, the climatologist, was on the show about 10 days ago, 2 Thursdays ago. And I think I told you this. So him and I talked for an hour. He's very anti-climate hysteria. I mean, he thinks there's nothing to the climate crisis at all. That's complete bullshit. Now, I mentioned there's a blog post on our blog at jimandknight.com about the fact that the next day or the day after, there was a report that came out that said 1,600 scientists, including two Nobel laureates, had signed a declaration basically saying the same thing. However, and to be perfectly fair, I actually happen to agree with Dr. Moore based on what I've read scientifically, that there's basically nothing to this at all. uh, you know, and especially Dr. Moore's his thing, or what I consider a revelation, is that CO2 doesn't cause the temperature to rise. The temperature rising naturally creates more CO2. That's basically the way he put this. It's the inverse relationship. CO2 does not, and I've had other climatologists tell me this too. The guy I got drunk with at the Christmas party about 7, 8 years ago, he told me that too. He said CO2 has nothing to do with the rising temperatures, and that's what Dr. Moore says too. Now, I, in all fairness, and to be precise, there's scientists who signed this declaration who say that no, CO2 does have something to do with rising temperatures. It's just like there's nothing, there's no bad ramifications from the rising temperatures. In other words, everyone agrees, including Dr. Moore. He said this in our interview, that over the last 300 years, the temperature on Earth has gone up, depending on where you're at. It varies more at the poles than it does at the equator. The temperature on the whole has gone up about 1 degree Celsius. But and also, Dr. Moore pointed that out, that at least half that time there was no industrial manufacturing or output on the planet. So that had nothing to do with it. So no one says the temperature's been rising. That's not an issue at all. Everyone agrees on that. The question is why, and is it going to have any negative ramifications for the future? And although the scientists disagree on why it's happening, everyone says there's no bad ramifications. That's the thing. When I say everyone, I'm talking about the 1,600 people who signed this declaration. This happened about 5, 6 years ago too, where another 1,500 scientists signed a similar declaration, and it got ran as a full-page article in the New York Times. And I have went looking for that ad. It was an ad; they paid for it, and I can't find it. The New York Times, as far as I can tell, has removed it. They ran it in the hard copy newspaper, and that's it. They didn't write. No one wrote an article about it either. They were not gonna. No, they're not gonna. God, climate change. You gotta have that. We gotta kill some birds with some real windmills. God damn it, that pisses me off. I tell you, okay, generating electricity, and this is the other thing. And I'm really, one of my friends who watched that interview with Dr. Moore said, you asked a really, really good question. I'm proud of myself for this. So Dr. Moore was talking about how he left Greenpeace, and I said he was one of the founders of Greenpeace. He left after 15 years. I said, "Do you have any regrets about what you did in Greenpeace?" He said, "Yeah, I have one regret. I oppose nuclear power because here's the deal. Here's the proof that climate change is bullshit. If you were truly against climate, quote unquote, climate change, you would embrace nuclear power. Especially now. Now, 50 years ago, it's never been unsafe, but the problems that they had 50 years ago, like disposing of the waste, all this sort of shit, we've pretty much figured all this shit out. And Dr. Moore brought up too, and I hate to be talking about him, but still, I feel really strongly about this issue. He brought up the fact that there's only been one real deadly nuclear accident in the entire history of this science phenomena, and that was Chernobyl. He called 3 Mile Island a nothing burger, and I know that's true. Nobody got hurt, nobody got killed, and nobody even got injured. The plant shut down. That's pretty much about it. It was really they're really not it was way exaggerated in the press about what happened here. Yeah, the thing is, we're not even talking about a core meltdown, although that's what happened in Chernobyl. At Chernobyl, they actually had a core meltdown. That's what happened. But he said, modern nuclear plants in the United States are designed so that it's literally physically impossible for that to happen. No matter what the circumstances, it just can't happen. So if you're truly trying to change the climate, you would embrace this, and the fact that they won't basically shows where everybody's coming from. And meanwhile, John Kerry gets on his wife's jet and flies all over the world. What is with our politicians? Where the hell do we get these people? So John Kerry runs for president. It's 2008. No, it's 2004. What am I talking about? And so you got the worst public speaker in Washington, George W. Bush, running against the second worst public speaker, John Kerry. You know, oh man. And anyway, I'm trying to think of something here, I couldn't. But so here's another thing that happened to me this last weekend too. I went to buy pizza. I went to the local Lunds and Byerly's, one of our luxury grocery stores here. I've talked about this. Minneapolis has arguably the best grocery store lineup in the entire country. I have a friend of mine who lives, a relative, excuse me, who lives in Silicon Valley, the heart of Silicon Valley, and she comes here and she says, "We got nothing like this." And she lives in one of the richest zip codes in America, and it's true. We have incredible supermarkets here. So I go down here to the north, the Lunds and Byerly's in Northeast, and I bought Bellatoria pizza, which I consider pretty much the best frozen pizza made. Now we can have a really nice discussion about this, and we can probably have a couple beers and have some pizza. But that's my personal feeling that Bellatoria. I mean, you got a couple others that are pretty damn good, but Bellatoria makes the best frozen pizza. I've been buying this stuff for years. It's been for years a Bellatoria pizza not on sale. Regular retail price has been $7.99. I go to Lunds and Byerly's to pick. This is the only thing I bought. One pizza, 11.99. It went up in the last 9 months. It's gone up 50%. It went up from $8 to $12. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because there's another article on HotAir.com about Selena Zito, a writer I don't really know. I've kind of heard of her, but I'm not familiar with her. And the headline is, "Please stop telling us everything is right with the economy." And it's so she quotes Paul this article starts out, she quotes Paul Krugman, who the economist for the New York Times, who is he always pointed out he has won a Nobel Prize, and he's a fucking idiot. I mean, as economists go, this guy is the outlier. You know, okay. So we're going to find a let's find we're in the New York Times. Let's find an economist who actually think liberal fiscal policy works. Oh, this guy. We'll put him in charge. We'll let him write. You know, I was on the Acela train going from Washington, New York, and Krugman sat across the aisle from me, and God damn it, I wanted to say, you know, "What a you're a fucking idiot." I really wanted to talk to him. I wanted to insult him. I really did. It's but, you know, they're telling us constantly, gaslighting about and all you have to do is go to the grocery store. Of course, Joe Biden doesn't go to the grocery store, and I don't know if Paul Krugman does either. He probably has one of his people do shopping for him, I don't know. But, there no, if you've gone to the grocery store, you know how bad a shape um, the economy is. That and maybe gas. Now, here in the middle of the country, we've always had kind of the cheapest gas prices. I've never always wondered why. Supposedly, it's because we have a lot of refineries close around here. I mean, there's a very large refinery about 30 miles out of Minneapolis, out of town. Uh, so a very large one. Supposedly, that's why our gas is cheaper. But I understand that on the Western United States, not even on the coast, not in California, like in the Western Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, gas is through the roof right now. Now it's high here, but it's not like it is out there. It isn't. But you go to the gas pump and also this needs to be brought up. It's still way higher than when Joe Biden first took office in January 21. It's way higher. I mean, they're just gaslighting goons. They keep saying, "Well, inflation is going down." Yeah, okay, it's going down. It's still way high. Still way high. And now rents in the United States, basically nationwide, are going through the roof. And I keep seeing the tape on cable news keeps playing the tape of that guy who's running for president. The rent is too damn high. Remember that? I can't remember what year that was, but he was humorous, but he had a point. I don't know. Now, on top of that, what's happening, and we got to get Murray Sabrin back on here too. I got too many people I got to talk to. That's all there's to it. And I gotta admit, I've never quite understand I don't really understand the vagaries of how this works, but apparently last month there was an unexpectedly large number of job openings. Now, the unemployment figures are coming out tomorrow, but job openings and unemployment are not the same thing. They usually correlate because if you have a lot of job openings, you should have lower unemployment, but that's not always the case. But at any rate, the number of job openings last month was way higher than anybody expected. Way higher. It's I don't know the numbers, but it's like something like 8.2 million to 9.7 or something like that. It was way higher, and that was not expected. But Murray has been saying, he's saying on the show too, that by the end of next summer, we're going to have a huge recession. Something's going to blow up, and that's what I think too. We'll be interested to see. I'll peg it before Labor Day. It'll be interesting to see if I'm right. I'll tell you if I'm wrong. I got a friend of mine who's telling me, he's he's a liberal guy, and he says to me, he said, you guys, I like your show, but you talk mostly bullshit. And I said, why is that? He said, well, you're talking about stuff that isn't true. And first of all, I disagree. But secondly, I've told him, and this is true, that if I do say like an untrue fact, I will come on and I won't bury it at the end of the show. I will say at the beginning of the show, I will make it a correction. I'm not going to pull this like New York Times bullshit and bury it on page 17B. I won't do that. So if I'm wrong about this by Labor Day, if I will mention it. Believe me, I'll remember too. I will. I have a bet going with a friend of mine, another uber liberal friend, because I live in Minneapolis. I've told you this. Ilhan Omar is the representative in the district I'm sitting in, in the studio. Oh, that's wonderful. I know she's fantastic. She's crazy. She's a crazy woman. She married her brother. There's been rumors going on for years that basically reporters are more or less verified. I so I will say allegedly here, but it's almost pretty much that she pays people to vote for her. It's just, I mean, the whole thing is just like it just stinks. So why did I bring that up? Oh no, Jesus Christ, I'm terrible. Actually, why? What was I? What was my point there? Where was I going with that? Can you tell me? Oh, by the way, give me a call, all right? So you know how to call the show? You go down to jimandnight.com/call. There's a big giant blue button at the top of that page. You press it and you're in the queue. It's really simple. Really, really simple. I ask everybody who calls up. We haven't had a lot of callers here, because I think I'm starting to think it's because people are reticent to put their face on the screen. I did not realize this was going to be this much of a problem. I didn't. You go on the Twitter machine or the X machine or whatever you want to call it, and you're insulting people, but other than your little avatar, which can be anything you want, nobody can see you. But here, yeah, yeah. Now the thing is, I point this out every time. I got to point out again. You can call up here without using your camera. There's an option on the preview screen to mute your camera and then your audio only. And you can also upload an avatar. I would appreciate if you do. This is a visual medium. You can upload an avatar so that will go on the screen instead of your camera. So yeah, and we have people have done this, and then we have there's a guy named Cooper who's called a few times. He calls off his cell phone and aims his cell phone anywhere other than his face. So you can do that too. And yeah, it's easy to call on your cell phone. You get an iPhone, you get Safari, you go to jimandnight.com, you hit the call thing on the menu, like, blam, bam, there you are. It's really simple. So call me and entertain me. Tell me what I'm doing wrong, because everybody else is. Oh, so I was talking about this job openings rate. Yeah, so something's gonna. I do think something's gonna happen here. That's what I was talking about. So well, I'll give it till Labor Day of next year. And Oh, and the other thing, so I was telling you the story. Now it all comes back to me. It's like I'm a mess. Uber liberal friend of mine, I have a bet going with him that on January 19th, 2025, the day before Inauguration Day, Joe Biden will not be president. So, and right now it looks like if I'm not right, I'm going to be really close. So, and okay, how can I do that? Well, first of all, I figured he might die. It's just simple as that. The guy's old and infirm, and he was when he took office 3 years ago. Although someone pointed out on some cable news show that if you look at tapes of Biden just 6 months ago, it's amazing how much he's degenerated since then, and that's true. If you bother to do that, I mean, he basically he can't seem to keep put sentences together anymore. That seems to be and like everybody in his condition, he has good days, and also I think when he has to give a major speech, I think they pump his butt full of adrenaline. I think so, because have you noticed this, like at the State of the Union or when he did those debates or anything like that? You'll notice he seems to be pretty good for almost exactly 40 or to 45 minutes, and then you can very visibly see him kind of collapse. It's like because I think that's all those drugs last. I think that's the deal. I don't know. What do I know? You could make a real argument that making him or letting him run for a second term is actually elder abuse. You actually could at this point. Now, people age in different ways. It's been pointed out Trump is only 4 years younger than he is, but Bernie Sanders is older than Joe Biden by 2 years, and there's nothing wrong with him. And Chuck Grassley is 92 years old in the House, and he's sharp as a tack. But Joe, God bless him. There's another thing we have to address here too. So I'm talking to another friend of mine. My friends now know I do this show. They're always talking to me about it. And also, speaking of this show, I'm just going to go a little aside here. I want to thank you folks. We've only been doing this for 8 weeks now. On Rumble, we've already, I think today we went past 500 followers, I think. And although a lot of our shows don't get a lot of viewership, some, like the one with Patrick Moore, has got over 3,000 people watched it. A couple of the shows Jazz Shaw has been on, he's hit like 2,500 people. And for a show that's only been going for 8 weeks, I mean, Christ, I'm very happy. I want to thank you folks. Thank you very much. So I don't usually say this, but yeah, I have to tell you the only number place I'm really pay attention to the numbers is Rumble. I'm assuming they at some point that YouTube will cut us off because they don't like what well, won't like what I'm saying. It's already got flagged once with Patrick Moore. I mean I figure I was anticipating this, but I didn't think it was going to happen that fast. I really did it. I mean we're 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Yeah, yeah, you're talking bullshit. Oh, no, 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 we're not. No, no, you guys are morons. So I that right now, Rumble's the only place I pay attention to any of the statistics. And if you were on 8 platforms total, including now Spreaker, audio only, but if you so we have our numbers are even better than what I'm telling you, but I only look at the Spreaker at the Rumble numbers at this point. That's basically that's what's going on here. So I was what this friend of mine was talking about is he said, "How come no one seems to care about anything?" And I said, like, "What do you mean?" And he's specifically talking about this the Biden corruption scandal. And at this point, they're going to keep investigating this. And I've said this too. I don't actually think they should try to impeach Joe Biden. The thing about doing this quote unquote the impeachment inquiry is it gave them extra subpoena powers. That's the reason you want to do that. So now they could subpoena people they couldn't and records they couldn't subpoena in the past. But as far as actually going through with impeachment, no, it's not gonna. The Democrats are never gonna vote against him ever. It's not even. I don't know if it's worth the trouble. So there's the point of where they should do it just to make a point. But the that's you can the Democrats will tell you that's why they did it to Trump, but that was just bullshit. They just hate his guts. They had nothing to do with anything. This thing that's going on in Manhattan right now with Trump and this supposedly lying on these forms. This is nuts. This is a victimless crime. Nobody was defrauded from Trump doing any of this. No, nobody. So the thing is, the court is alleging, the state is alleging that to get loans, Trump vastly overestimated the value of his properties. But they have estimated the value of Mar-a-Lago. The whole thing is like 27 acres or something like that. A prime Palm Beach real estate is 18 million bucks. Now Trump says it's worth at least a billion. This is what I know. It's worth at least a half a billion. It's worth at least $500 million. He may be exaggerating, but he's way closer to the benchmark than the state is. And the other thing is, okay, so he put this on these bank forms. Now it's up to the banks to vet all this information, and they do. And that's the thing. They, you know, no, Trump has never defaulted on a loan, or I should say this: his company hasn't ever. So he filled out all these forms. He got these loans. He paid them all back, interest and everything. No, it's a victimless crime. So, and it's absurd. You're going to tell me the state of New York is better at estimating the value of properties than either Donald Trump or the banks he's dealing with is? It's nuts. There's no better example of election interference than this. None. I mean, it's absurd. So why did I bring that up? Oh, because the thing is, then you contrast that to Joe Biden. Joe Biden and Hunter Biden have scammed governments around the world out of at least $20 million, and they have documented that at this point. They think the oversight committee actually thinks it might be as high as 50 million, but that's a speculation. They have documentation on 20. And at this point, they have proved corruption. They say that, people say, well, they don't. There's nothing showing them going right into his bank account. Yeah, but here's what they do. They do show they have money going to his 10-year-old grandkids, and I don't think they're supplying any service to the Chinese government. As a matter of fact, we have to be blunt here. The only single thing the Biden family has to sell is access to Joe. That's it. That's the only product service they have. And if this was anybody other than the president of the United States, oh, he'd already been tried and convicted and be put in jail. I mean, it's like it's so clearly fraud and corruption. And he did this on the country's dime. That's the real other amazing thing. And and my friend says, "Why isn't anything happening?" That's a damn good question. They're going to investigate this because they can't kick him out of office. I mean, I do wonder after he leaves office, I suppose they could arrest him. You know, uh, I mean, the presidents have always, I don't know if always, but for many, many years, at least a century, have functioned when it comes to criminality under different rules while they're in office. That's the key there. Like you can't arrest the president while he's in office. You can't do it for anything. But yeah, after he leaves office, yeah, I don't know. You know, they throw the guy in jail. They've documented $20 million of transfer. Hi, I think we're still on. I don't know what happened there. And we have it's raining outside here, and sometimes we have trouble with our internet when it rains, when we have a storm. So as far as I can tell, I think we're still broadcasting. I think. Oh man, and I don't even know remember what I was talking about. Oh Jesus. Okay. All righty. I was talking about Joe Biden. That's what I was talking about the fact that they've proven corruption. There's just no doubt about it at this point. The getting bribing people to give your children or grandchildren or family members money is literally the legal definition of bribery. It meets the legal definition. And who are we fooling here? That's the thing. Who the hell are we fooling? It's like they have nothing to sell. The only thing they have to sell is access to Joe. Why would people be giving Hunter that sort of money? He has no skills. He has no experience doing any of this shit. I mean, it's like, it's like they want proof. No, that's enough proof. We have enough proof. Should the president be held to a higher standard? No. No. There's no reason to. If is this beyond a reasonable any reasonable person would conclude that they're on the take. Any reasonable person. Yeah. Well, now, in terms of and since I'm bashing Republicans tonight, let's talk about this too. Peter Schweitzer, the author and commentator, he's pointed out the fact that if you're wondering why nothing's happening, it's because Mitch McConnell, the minority leader in the Senate, whose wife has ties to business in China, is probably on the same grift, probably. I'm alleging this. I do not know for a fact, but so I mean, according to Schweitzer, and this is a quote, that he's the number two guy in Washington who's getting the money. That Biden's one and O'Connell's two, McConnell's two, and that probably, you know, knowing the ties his wife has to Chinese industry, ev- Jesus, everybody's collecting money. Everybody. Yeah, I can tell here. We have a little bit of a delay, and I think our internet connection is kinda goofy. I think that's what's going on here, and it always happens, and it pisses me off. Well, what, it's raining, and so, we gotta the internet stops? What's going on with that? But we've had this problem here for many years, and we've even tried different internet providers, and for some reason, if there's a storm outside, a lot of times our connection fails. Now, I know it's probably lines or something like that, who the hell knows, you know? Alright, I got more stuff here. I'm gonna keep talking. Yeah, okay, so here's another thing. So I told you at the top of the show that at this restaurant, the restaurant's name is Butcher's Tail. It's in downtown Minneapolis. Very expensive, very exclusive. Not that I go to places like this maybe once a year. It's way above my pay grade, totally. It is, but you know, what the hell? Wife's out of town. So I'm there with my friend Howie, and I'm sitting at the bar next to the woman who's the new marketing director of this company. They own this restaurant and a bunch of others, and she's there trying out the menu. And I actually asked her, I said, "Nice woman, about maybe 32, the early 30s, you know, seemed bright to me, uh, and I told her about the thing about, and I'm just fascinated by this. So, Johnny from Jesse Waters' Fox News program goes to Princeton University, and he's talking to a bunch of students there. And one of the people he's talking to is a woman who's majoring in marketing, and he says, "So what do you think of that Bud Light thing?" This is Johnny talking to the woman, and the woman says, "Oh," he said, "I'd really like to would have liked to help Dylan Mulvaney through that whole thing." And Johnny says, "Yeah, but you realize that as a marketing plan, it failed miserably, right?" And she just smiled. She has nothing to say because she doesn't care. See, that's the point. She's a social justice warrior, and she's going to go out in the world and she's going to fight wrongs. Where the woman I'm sitting next to, who's just a little older than this woman was, uh, she knows that her job is to sell shit. That's her job. Her job is not to make a political statement. Her job is not to, you know, come up with some woke tard bullshit regarding selling their restaurant. So what's happened this weekend for the second weekend in a row now, and the NFL is trying to capitalize on the fact that Taylor Swift is dating, Travis Kelsey from the Kansas City Chiefs, and several of the people online who like know about this shit, it's pretty embarrassing. And the thing is, and here's the real embarrassing thing, and people have brought this up. I'm not any brilliant genius talking about this. The So, like, Taylor Swift's audience is not the target demographic for the NFL. Her audience is mostly primarily, uh, teenage girls. Not entirely, I understand that. There's a lot of what they call sympathetic moms, I think it is. There's a lot of moms who go along with their teenage girls, because it's, Taylor, it's such clean cut entertainment. And the thing is, here's my deal. Uh, I was a professional musician for many years. As a songwriter, I think Taylor Swift absolutely sucks. I think she's awful. She's terrible. She basically took her high school diary and put it to music, basically. And why can I say that? Well, here's the deal. She's arguably the most popular musician on the planet right now. And she's basically, I would say, she's the modern day equivalent of the Beatles. So you listen to the Beatles music and listen to some of Taylor Swift's music and tell me what you think, right? Yeah. As a songwriter, she's terrible. Now, I'm qualifying myself here because that said, she's fantastic at everything else. She seems to be a fantastic performer. She understands arena performing like nobody else does. She really, really caters to her fans. She's been really good about nurturing her fan base. She's appears to be a really smart businesswoman. I mean, in every other way, she's fantastic. So I don't. If you're thinking I'm begrudging her success, I don't. She has handled her career masterfully. The fact that the music sucks, well, you got a bunch of 17-year-old girls who disagree with me, and that's all you need. You know, God bless her, she has it. Those 17-year-old girls wouldn't know a good song if it slapped them in the butt. So, but the thing is, she's not the. Yeah, I mean, these people like Clay Travis and talking about this, those people, those 17-year-old girls are not the target audience of the NFL. And okay, so the NFL is making social media posts and shit. Yeah, Taylor was here. Blah, 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 blah. If you think these people are going to stick around after Taylor leaves, which of course she eventually will because she breaks up with all men she dates. I shouldn't say that, but it's terrible. You know, yeah, you're nuts. No, they're gonna forget about the NFL so goddamn fast, it's unbelievable. It's a total waste of time, and so I bring this up because this is what's become of marketing in the 21st century. We're no longer interested in actually selling product. We just wanna, like, appease rock stars and do social justice shit and make certain that we got a transgender guy who's not really transgender guy. He's a, drag performer. Uh, and I don't care what he says. I say he's a drag performer. Uh, sell beer. Yeah, right. Yeah, blah blah. The real amazing thing about the whole um, Bud Light phenomena about them losing all these sales is people say, well, there was a boycott. Well, it depends on how you define a boycott because there was no organized attempt. Nobody organized an attempt to get people not to buy the beer. Millions of people just decide on their own not to do it. And I've done this before too. There's things where I've said, well, you've lost me here. I'm not doing this anymore. And then it turns out a whole bunch of people did the same thing. That's what now I'm not a Bud Light drinker. I'm generally not a beer drinker anyway. But that's what happened with Bud Light. Their sales went down 30% and they've stayed there. They have not recovered. As a matter of fact, they've dragged sales of other Anheuser-Busch products down with them. Not that badly, but still. The fact this was a disaster for that company. And it's the trade publications in beer sales have said it does not appear that they're going to get out of it ever. This might be permanent. Because the thing is, here's the deal. I've had that beer. It's I won't say it's bad, but light beer in America, it's basically piss beer. It all tastes the same, you know. Why you drink one beer over another, there is some mystique. That's one of the arts of marketing is creating the mystique of a brand. I like this brand because of this. Well, now I like Bud Light because I got a drag performer advertising it, and no, I don't like it anymore. It's not hard. I'll just go off and I'll buy, well, I guess Modena took over or something like that. I'll buy Corona Light or something. It's all the same. It all tastes good, you know. All right, I'm gonna end with this here tonight. Our friend Jazz Shaw, another guy I need to get on. Now, Jazz, I pretty much told him, I said, I want to come on once a month. Jeff Myers coming on Thursday. He's going to be coming on twice a month. There's a few people here that I basically want to come on regularly. I don't. It's generally it's just kind of a feel thing. Whenever the news starts to pop up, and so Jazz, who I've always referred to as my brother from another mother, because his beat is conservative politics and UFOs, or actually, and expands to the paranormal. But he is specifically, as I am, a UFO expert. So we always have plenty of shit to talk about and the conservative thing. I barely disagreed with at anything we've said. And I mean, okay, he's been on this show, which has only been running 9 weeks now, twice. My previous podcast, I bet he was on maybe 2 dozen times, maybe more. But he wrote an article on a hot air, and this is dated September 30th. Those are a few days ago. about the fact that the headline is "Scientists Studying Consciousness After Death with Surprising Results." And the article is about a multi-year study done at New York University where and this was very difficult for them to do is because of the logistics I'm gonna outline to you right now. The idea was to hook people who were in cardiac arrest up to EKG machines. No, I'm sorry, it's actually an EEG machine, in other words, brain function. So you're in the hospital. They did this with 20, let me see, 25 hospitals? Yeah, 25 different hospitals around the world. And so they asked the hospitals when somebody was having a heart attack in the hospital to immediately hook them up to an EEG machine that would measure their brain waves. Okay, so of these 567 patients in these 25 hospitals that suffered cardiac arrest, all but 53 of them died permanently. They could not revive them. They revived 53 of them. And of those people they revived, 12 of them, of the 53, said they experienced what was called enhanced awareness while they're essentially clinically dead. And 6 of them had what was called a bona fide near death experience. Now, what this study was trying to do, and what Jazz is writing about here, they were trying to, they the near death experience that people report all across the globe in every culture has been more or less the same, but there's been no proof that it's like quote unquote real in the sense that it's something that the theory up to now is that it's something that your dying brain manufactures. As a matter of fact, there's even the theory is even that your dying brain manufactures it as comfort to you. In other words, it's evolutionary. It's not, it's you're dying and it basically ensures that your last moments are blissful. That's the theory. But the problem is these reports have been so widespread and so uniform. And on top of that, and they address this, Chaz addresses in the article, most of the people who have these near death experiences report a, basically a life review process where they say their entire life flashed before their eyes, and it's been described as thus. It's been described as it's not just the most important thing in your life. It's every single fucking moment of your life. Every time you brush your teeth, every time you wake up, and it all happens in an instant, but you see the whole thing. And all the people who experience this, they say this. Now that's crazy shit. Do I remember anything about brushing my teeth this morning? No, I don't. You remember the important things happening in your life. You remember that, but that you'd remember taking out the trash on August 30th, 2023. That you'd remember that. Well, apparently you do. That's what they've all said. That it's the most mundane things. It's everything. The life reviews every, and I don't understand how your brain could process that. Well, I have a theory actually. I do. I'll tell you my theory, and this is above and beyond the study. This is my theory. I've done a lot of reading about this. I have no proof of this whatsoever. I want to preface this because this is the part my friend would say, "Oh, yeah, I'm giving out misinformation." No, this is just my opinion. It's my opinion. I think that I don't know if you know this, but they know where short-term memories in the brain are stored. They don't know as of tonight. They don't know where long-term memories are stored. I think long-term memories are stored in the cloud, literally, like a computer. Like in other words, in like the universe, there's some giant database somewhere that stores all this shit, and it's not in our bodies. The people who subscribe to this theory have described it as a television set. Your brain is a TV set, and there's a signal that's being broadcast to your brain. And as long as you're alive, you get the signal. And when you die, you no longer receive the signal, but the signal's still there. And the signal is your thoughts and memories. And I thought that's a pretty good way to describe this. Anyway, what they determined hooking all these people up to the EEG machines is they determined that even after their brain was clinically dead and even after they supposedly flatlined, they saw some activity. They saw some activity that seemed to be consistent with all the people that had the near death experiences. That's what in other words, Jazz mentioned this. In other words, they think this proves that phenomena is not only real, but it's not taking place in your body, which is really they described it as basically quote unquote new dimensions of reality, whatever the hell that means. We have a caller. I'm taking this. There's David. Hi, David. How you doing?
Jim, how are you?
I'm good. Say, have you been watching the entire night?
No, I haven't. I just finished. I was watching on Prime, Jack Ryan's. I just finished it.
Oh yeah, because I want to ask you because our signal collapsed about maybe let me see about 15, 20 minutes ago, and I don't know if we picked back up or obviously we obviously picked back up. You're calling.
Oh,
So yeah,
so you had
okay.
internet problem?
Yeah, we got an internet problem. We've had I was bitching about this. We've had a here. I don't know what it is here in Northeast when we have there's a storm going on outside right now. It seems
Yeah.
like we lose internet connection, and it doesn't matter what company you're with or what. I don't know. I don't understand, but we've switched companies, everything, trying to solve this problem. It never goes away.
Really? That
Yeah.
shouldn't. That's interesting because yeah, I don't know. I mean, is it? Well, I don't know. I mean, because I have Comcast and I've been fairly reliable, so I don't know.
But I know we're on because I'm talking to you. There you are. You're right there.
Yeah, really. Thank you for looking at my email because I saw that about the fella and
Yeah. Thank
so I
you.
wrote it to you. And yours was canceled because yours was bad information, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right. We're spreading misinformation. Right. I
Yeah.
know.
Well, I had a question. It seems YouTube censors everything pretty much. Why do you have to use YouTube? Can't you
No.
use Rumble to put stuff on?
No, well, we have stuff on Rumble. I don't know if you caught this. I was talking about this earlier. Rumble is basically the only stats I pay attention to, and so yeah, we're on Rumble. It helps us to be on YouTube. This is really weird because we can pipe the YouTube videos directly into the website. So if you go to jimandknight.com, go to the episodes page, all those episodes are pumped in from YouTube, and they make it very easy to do that. So I don't want to, I like I've said this. I think eventually YouTube will cut us off, but as long as they're doing that, I'm going to take advantage of it.
So if that happens, what's your recourse?
Oh,
What
as
can you
far
do?
as far as the episodes page, I would start taking them from Rumble, but that takes a lot more work. That's like we would have to. I basically have to manually load up every one. Right now, the whole thing's automatic.
Oh, there's not like a program you could write or something you can write that can merge it over or something?
Yeah, I don't have the money to hire anybody to do it. See,
Oh, I got it. I got
the
it.
programs for YouTube is so ubiquitous. The programs for YouTube, they already exist. So
Okay, I see.
yeah, matter of fact, I didn't even pay anything for it. It was free.
I see. So okay, so basically you're going to run to failure then, I
Yeah,
guess.
that's right. That's right. I'm running to failure. Right. Exactly.
Hey, I wanted to say one thing, a couple of things, but one thing is your show with Don Zorro
Yeah.
and the other fella wearing a conch hat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Was that Hank Reardon?
Oh well, I actually, I can't,
Because
I can't comment on that. That
okay,
guy's name is
well,
Jeff
because
Meyer, and he's going to be on here. He's going to be coming on a couple times a month because
oh,
the Con News is dumping their podcasts because apparently some internal problem or something like that. So he's going to be coming on here in lieu of doing that.
okay, I got it because I just when I was watching and listening and so forth, I say that's pretty familiar.
Yeah, I bet you can probably put that together, but I can't really talk about it. So
Well,
yeah,
we'll pass on that question.
yeah, right, right.
Anyway, the Bigfoot that was a quite a nice, very interesting show. It was very nice.
Oh, thanks. I'm glad you liked it. That's good.
Because actually, all the politic bullshit's going on. You get tired of hearing that stuff. So it's nice
No
to hear
shit.
something different.
No shit.
I
I'm
mean,
getting
it's a joke. I mean, it's like it's crazy.
yeah. Yeah, so it's at the top of the show. I've been talking about this thing with Kevin McCarthy, and the thing is like, what do you say? I mean, yeah, it's just bullshit. I mean, the Republicans never seem to really get their shit together. They just like I don't know what to make of it. And you're right. I get tired of talking about it too. I almost don't want to do it. You know, I get friends who watch the shows. They think I shouldn't do. I should just dump it. I shouldn't talk about politics at all. But the thing is, the
Well,
problem with that is you need shit to talk about, and it's like, you know, there's only so much, you
Yeah,
know?
well, I mean, you could carve out like I don't know, like 10 minutes highlights of the day or something like that, I guess, and then
Yeah,
move on to some other topics. But it's just in my lifetime, I've never seen it this crazy. This is unbelievable.
yeah, it is. I agree with you totally.
I
It
mean,
is,
it's just my God Almighty, and then Trump. I mean, what they're doing to that guy, that's just ridiculous.
isn't it though? I
I
mean,
mean,
yeah. Go ahead.
no, it's just. I mean, there's really nothing to say. It's just unbelievable.
It's a
That guy can't.
victimless crime. He didn't screw anybody out of any money. It's like I just find this amazing.
I'm just amazed how they get away with this stuff. It's just unbelievable. I mean, they own everybody top to bottom.
Yeah, I guess it's
So
brazen.
all these people paid off.
They used to try to hide this shit. Now they don't bother even hide it anymore. You
So
know? Yeah.
it must be huge payoffs to these people.
Oh well, yeah. I think there's a lot of money. I really
I mean,
do.
because these people in the various jobs that they have, they don't make a lot of money.
No, they don't.
100 grand,
No.
200 grand, but that's not. I mean, that's decent, but that's not a lot of money. So they must be greasing the skids.
Well, I mean, everyone wonders. Uh, Joe Biden's been working on a now. Okay, senators and vice presidents get paid pretty well compared to the rest of the country, but he can't afford a mansion, and there he has one. He
Well,
has four of them.
of course. I used to work for the federal government, so I kind of have a little bit of knowledge of what goes on. But I mean, they make a reasonable living, reasonable, right?
Yeah, right,
But I mean, not what's going on. That's ridiculous. So there's definitely wheels are being greased somehow.
for sure.
I mean, it's like some of these judges are paid off, right?
I think well, actually, my personal feeling, David. I have no proof of this at all. The DNC and RNC and the Republicans do this too. They take in shitloads of money, and yeah, they distribute it. That's what I think is going on.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's actually sickening to watch it go on.
yeah, so then the question is what can anybody do about it? I don't know what you and I can do other than maybe talk about it, and then YouTube will cut us off, of course.
Yeah, or if you get too crazy, you'll get the knock at the door, right?
Yeah, I suppose. You know, I don't know if you've ever studied the Men in Black phenomena with people who say they've seen UFOs. It's really weird. There's people who say they've seen UFOs and they get the knock on the door from the federal people, and they never even told anybody that they saw one. It's like that.
Really?
Yes, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. They had a visit by the guys in the uniforms, and yeah, they never told anybody. You know,
Yes.
so how do you know? How do they even know? I don't know. It's just mind boggling. But there's way more than one person that said that's happened. So
Well, I mean, with the surveillance systems, and they could see everything. They can hear everything,
yeah,
everything.
that appears to be the truth, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because the computers are so damn powerful. They can just make things happen. It's unbelievable.
yeah, yeah. And also, we all have these cameras on our machines now, and
Right.
we know this. Just because the camera's supposedly turned off doesn't mean it is. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's exactly right. So it's becoming pretty scary,
It's depressing.
very much,
Totally.
very
Yeah,
much, very much. It's sad, actually. It's just sad,
yeah.
you
Well,
know.
tell me something I don't know then.
Well, but the Bigfoot with Larry Newman, that was great, actually. That was really good. Larry's a good guy. I'm hoping he'll come back in the
Oh, he
near
will.
future.
Yeah. It seems like those people had a good time. They've already talked to me about coming back. So uh,
That was wonderful. That show worked out very nice because you had to coordinate the three people, and it worked out well. I thought it was
yeah, it
pretty
did.
flawless, actually.
That's the first time we've had 4 people on at once.
Sure. So
So
you
yeah.
said your system's maximum, but I think you said six,
Yeah,
maybe.
I think the maximum 6. I'm not actually even sure, but well, I should say I know we can do 6. I've never done 6, but supposedly we can do 6.
Yeah,
I don't know.
six would be kind of that would be a little messy, I guess.
I think actually anything over 4 would be messy myself.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's hard. Yeah.
Yeah, but it did work out. So, you know, and those people they're off. Marianne said somebody in her party actually saw one. So
Yeah, that's nice. Also, I did see on your followers. I remember for a while there was 13 followers for a long time. Now I think you're up over just slightly over 600
Well, this afternoon we were just
on your Rumble.
yeah, we were just pushing 500. If it's gone up since then, and
I
I don't
think
know what
it's
to tell you.
620 or something on Rumble because I only watch you
Fantastic.
on Rumble.
Yeah, that's good because that's what I tell. I even put on the watch page on our website. It actually says now we recommend you watch on Rumble. Yeah, so
Yeah,
uh,
Rumble seems to be a pretty good outfit, actually.
yeah, they do. I
Seems to
agree.
be,
Yeah,
and
also
they're not
technically,
as finicky as YouTube. Well, YouTube is they're managed by Google, I think.
yeah, of course they are. Yeah,
Now, and then what do you expect?
yeah. Well, yeah, it's like a bunch of engineers and the whole thing. They've built this thing. It was basically they built it while it's flying through midair. I think the interface is terrible myself. It's like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's crap. And not only
I
that,
mean,
yeah, go ahead.
how can they say that the interview with the climate change fella was misinformation? How can they make that judgment? I mean,
Well, oh, David, they're 26 years old and they went to college. Of course they can.
Zip
That's
answers my question, right?
right. That's right. That's how they can do that.
That's unbelievable. Like, that's makes you wonder. We talked a few times before. Is that what are they teaching these kids in schools? It's just amazing. So you're seeing the work of about the last 25 years of what they're teaching these kids in school, because now these kids are moving up these various positions,
Yeah.
and you see all the censoring and all the
Yeah.
craziness. It
Right.
all comes from the school.
Right. Did you hear the story I was just telling before you came on about the woman in marketing I was sitting next to at the restaurant?
No.
Okay, I'll just really quickly make this. So, um, I was telling her about the fact that on Jesse Waters' show on Fox News, Johnny, the guy who goes out and does the man on the street interviews, he went to Princeton University and he's talking to a woman, a young, college co-ed, and I don't know if they even use that word anymore. I don't know. It's probably sexist. I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm an
sure.
old man. Fuck it.
Well, remember, I'm older than you, but yes.
I know you are. So he says, "What are you majoring in?" She says, "Marketing." And he says, "What do you think of that Bud Light thing?" And she said, I wish I was there. I would have really liked to have helped Dylan Mulvaney through that whole thing." And Johnny says, "Yeah, but you know that as the sales of the beer tanked, right?" And she just smiles. She doesn't say anything. No, because she doesn't care. She's in marketing, but she doesn't care about the sales. You know, the important thing is that the transgender guy felt good. That was the important thing. It's nuts.
It's interesting because when I was going to school, I took some marketing, and also when I was in graduate school, I tutored some guys that were in marketing, working on their master's degree in marketing, and one of the big issues about the research is it's like forecasting. And I was knowledgeable in forecasting. I took a lot of courses in stats and all that sort of thing. So,
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's all about testing the market and sales, money, not the stupid shit.
No
So, how's
shit.
it changed over the last 40 years?
I know. I mean, you'd like to think that's master the obvious bullshit. Yeah, the idea is to sell shit. That's why you're doing this. No, apparently it isn't. We're
Yeah.
wrong.
I mean, you have a product, so I mean, bottom line is you want to study the market so you can target the market and make the sales, and everybody's happy.
No, you're an old, stupid old man.
I
No,
get
you're
you're
wrong.
right.
You're
You're
wrong
right.
about that.
Yeah.
No, the idea is to make people feel good. That's the idea.
When did the change, you think?
Well, I remember reading in the 1970s or something like that, after the whole thing of the Summer of Love shit in the 60s happened, and then I don't know if you remember this, William Ayers was in the Weather Underground.
Yeah,
Those
right.
guys, right.
Real bad. Yeah,
Well,
right.
okay, so he went to prison, all this sort of shit. So when he got out, of course he ended up as a college professor, of course. And he said, "You don't understand. We're gonna change our this country by indoctrinating your kids. It's gonna take us 30 years, but we're gonna do it." And they did.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
they
happened.
did.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's just unbelievable. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just unbelievable. Now, I wonder what type of courses or or disciplines that they do this in? Because I can't imagine they do this in anything as difficult like mathematics. I mean, there must be certain disciplines that they do all this bullshit.
David, what is wrong with you? Mathematics is racist. You know that.
Yeah, I know, right?
Get a clue, man.
Well, again, I'm an old timer, you know.
You
In
are.
fact, you're having a birthday soon, I'm right, I guess.
Holy shit, yeah, next Tuesday. Yeah,
Yeah, well, mine will be about a month after yours.
yeah, yeah, but you're still older than me. I'm never gonna catch up to you.
No, no, I'm sorry to say,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna be talking to the Social Security people because I think it's time for me to pull the lever.
Oh, I already did that. Yeah, I know, free money from the government, it's great. I'm
Well,
not
I think you did some work for it, I think, right?
Well, yeah, I suppose. I'm not gonna, besmirch it at all. But, the whole thing is I don't know, it's just kinda weird, but you know, I was talking to Murray Sabrin about this, so I think they instituted Social Security in 1936. So the year they instituted it, the age to collect it was 61, and the average age of Americans was 62.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, they
That's
weren't paying out a lot.
no, not really. But now they're getting close to being underwater, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
You know what's funny is this was uh, maybe about 8 years ago, I guess it was. So I go to the Social Security office. I'm just curious to talk to them about how's it work and all that sort of thing. I guess I was 62. I think. Anyway, so I went to. So the funny thing is, so I go in the Social Security. This was in Hayward actually. So
Uh-huh.
I go to the Social Security department, and there's a large room with chairs and all that sort of thing. So I go in there. This was like maybe 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not joking. I was the oldest guy in the room. Oldest guy in the room. I said to myself, Social Security isn't that for old people? What are all these young
Oh,
people
hold it.
doing?
Just say, yeah. Why are all these young people there?
It's shocking. I mean, I said to myself, "What the hell?" Well, I'm the oldest guy. There must have been 30 people in the room. I seen women in there with babies and all that shit. So what are you doing here? What
Unbelievable.
I think. Well, I sense there's some scams going on. I sense.
Well, I have to tell you, when you're actually ready to pull the lever on this, you have to do an enormous amount of research because it's so fucking confusing. It's mind-boggling. It really, I mean, I actually, it's yeah. Well, no, actually, hold on. Let me qualify that. It's not Social Security that's confusing. It's Medicare that's confusing. It's like I don't know if you're on Medicare or not,
Well, I
but
know I already did that a few years ago.
oh my god! But did you know? It's unbelievably confusing. It just is. I don't understand. If you can't run a computer, I don't understand how you can even understand it.
Well,
But
they want to do if you do they want you to do everything online. They
yeah,
don't want you to come
they
in or
do.
anything.
Yeah, but what about all the old farts like us who don't go online? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's the problem.
Yeah, it is
That,
a
that's
problem.
that's the problem. Well, Social Security is the same way. They want you to start go through online to sign up for it. They don't want you to go to the office.
No, they don't.
So I
Nobody
guess you
should.
just go. I guess you just go online and put your full name in, the Social Security number, and you push the button and see what happens.
I know what happens. That information goes directly to China.
You're right. You're probably right.
There's some guy in China who's just collecting it.
Oh my God help us. But anyway, getting back to Social Security. So all these young people in the room, I don't know what they do, what they're doing. They're getting benefits somehow.
Well, I'm actually serious. So, did you ever find out what are they doing? What? Why
No,
were you
no,
didn't
I
find
no, I
out?
could no, I was just there and I had to wait for a while because I did not make an appointment. So I think I had to wait about an hour
Uh huh.
to see somebody. I was just curious, how does this work, But it was just shocking what they're doing something. They must be getting some kind of benefits. Is it? I don't know if it's like if they're disabled or some kind of medical something. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, I know you can get Social Security if you're younger, but yeah, there's qualifications. I don't know what they are, but you know, I don't.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I just sense a lot of people are scheming stuff.
Yeah. Well, and then you die.
Yeah, because I know welfare that there's a lot of scheming on that.
Did you hear what I was talking about before, just as you were calling in?
No, no, no.
Oh,
Something about death or something. I
yeah,
just got like
yeah,
a minute of it.
yeah. Near-death experiences. These scientists at New York University think they proved the phenomena. It's like, it's yeah. So, in other words, yeah, you really do think shit after your brain dies. Yeah. So it's like but whatever. Okay.
Who are you going to tell? Right.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem. Everyone who's died has never come back.
That's right. At least to your knowledge and so forth. You know.
Yeah.
So how's your mom doing?
Oh, she's doing great.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah,
Yeah.
send her my best next time you talk with her.
Yeah. I think
I
I
miss some
figured out how I'm
stories.
going to get her on the show. I
I
think
thought you said you're gonna have her call in, just do a
yeah,
call in.
I'm gonna have her call in on the phone. We're just gonna do it audio. Yeah. Uh huh.
Yeah, the
Why
same
not?
as like the you know like the radio show or the
That's right.
podcast show.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Why not? Better than nothing. That's what I figure.
well, it's fine. I mean, you know, at least you can hear her and have her, you know, tell a couple of wonderful stories. You know what you went through
Yeah.
during World War II. That was just terrible.
I'll put a picture of her up our, yeah, she can talk because
Yeah,
that's
yeah, that's kind of like Don Zorro, right?
yeah, yeah. Well,
I
now,
get,
so
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
go
I
ahead.
guess he's like undisclosed location Don Zorro. He didn't want to be
Yeah,
seen, huh?
yeah, he is. Yeah, actually, he has very good reasons for not being seen. He
Sure,
does.
I understand.
I can't
Sure.
say what they are, but but so he actually called in. He has a camera and mic on his device, but he muted the camera, so it's not. He was not on the phone. So
Right. He
yeah,
just hit the pitcher.
right. That's right.
Sure.
Exactly. Yeah,
Sure.
that's why he had a little avatar uploaded. Now my mother calls it on the phone. I will do that myself manually to accommodate her, but yeah, it's not exactly the same. It'll probably look the same. Whatever.
How does the call come into you?
Oh, what with
In other words, like right now, I just push the buttons and I'm on. So
yeah,
if somebody called you, you have to give them the special phone number to call?
yeah, yeah. No, not only that, I figured this out just today because I have a guest who wants to call in too, coming up next couple weeks.
Okay.
So we have to pre-tape that because
Yeah.
there's no way I can futz with the equipment while we're doing this live. So yeah, I give them a phone number and yeah, they will call up and then we have the like my cell phones and the ported right into the audio mixing board. That's how it works.
So basically you have a conversation with them and then you just record it and you just play the
Yeah,
recording.
yeah. I will actually record. I'll record the video because I'll put my face on and I'll put a picture up for them. But yeah, and I don't know if this. I don't know if you know what it uses a TRRS system. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
No, I'm not familiar.
Okay, so that our mixing board does this. So the thing is, when you plug the phone into the mixing board, the person on the other end of the phone doesn't get any feedback. So
Okay.
they don't hear like double or they don't hear echo or anything like that.
Yes.
That's what the TRRS thing does. So you have to have
And
a special mixing board or special part of your mixing board to do it.
I
And I
see. In fact, that was like when you had the show about the debate. It was a huge echo at the beginning. That was
yeah.
terrible.
Now that was just because of the fact that Don Zorro didn't want to use any headphones. That was on him, but that's cool. He fixed it. So yeah, yeah, it was pretty bad. Yeah.
But you don't have to use headphones to talk on the through the system, do you?
Well, here's the deal. See, you don't. You have to have noise canceling built into your device. Are you on a laptop? What are you on right now?
My laptop, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, better laptops, better computers have noise canceling built in, but some, and especially some of the older ones, don't. So then
Oh,
you have to use headphones. Yeah.
is that what it is? Because
Yeah.
I don't know. I just talk. I mean,
Yeah, most people do. If you have a fairly modern computer now, it's not a problem. But
I
apparently
see. Okay.
Don
So,
Zorro's living in the Stone Age, you know him,
well,
he's spending all his money on drinking booze. So
well,
and then
booze.
women.
See,
Yeah.
I tell them the story when I remember you get a shot of good whiskey like first used to be like Johnny Walker Black Label was good Scotch.
Yeah.
You can get that 50 cents a shot.
Yeah. And Now, I hope you're old enough to know this, David. It's actually not good scotch.
Not anymore, huh?
No, it isn't. No, no. But I don't know about you. I love scotch, so it always gets the job done. I'll drink it.
But I think well it's I think Johnny Walker now has various types of scotch. Like some is like 10 or 15 years, 20 years
Oh
old.
yeah, yeah. Matter of fact, they sell when I was in California a few years ago, I finally had a glass of this. I think it's called Walker Green or Johnny Walker Blue. It's really expensive. Now
Uh-huh.
it's still blended Scotch. It's not single malt, but I mean it's apparently the blend is quite amazing. I gotta admit I had it. I thought it was fantastic. It was. I can't remember. I think I paid $40 for a glass of it. You know.
Yeah. In fact, back in the day, again, like in the '60s, I remember like Chivas Regal was good scotch.
Yeah. Right.
I think
Yeah.
that was 12 years old, I think.
That's right. That's it. When we
But
were
but
12, it was good scotch.
but so today that's considered like rot gut.
What was that? Say again?
I say today is considered rot gut today.
What, black?
Chivas Regal.
Oh, yeah, I think so. I don't think people can I don't
Really?
yeah, I don't know. But yeah,
In,
what do I know? I don't know.
interesting.
Yeah. I
Interesting.
generally like single malt scotch, but Dewar's and Johnny Walker Black will get the job done.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, Jim, I think I'll let you go because I know your show's about ended.
Yeah, thank you, David. Yeah, we pretty much it's astonishing. I don't make any attempt to hit any sort of time marks, but it's almost exactly 90 minutes always. So
Yes. And for anybody who's listening, please call in. It's
thank
very
you.
simple.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, talk about how simple it is because you're absolutely right.
It, it,
It's
it's
it's dead
very
simple.
simple. All you do is you go to jimatnight.com and you enter the show, you click on it. And if you want to take your picture off or whatever, you click on whatever and then push the button. And then you're on Jim's call board and
Yeah.
Jim lets you in when he wants you to come in.
Thank you, David. I love you for that.
Yeah, of course, it's very simple. And in fact, to all the people listening, I'm the one you said, Jim, that de-virgin your show.
Yeah. Hey, I got an idea, David. Send me your mailing address. I'm going to send you some Chivas Regal. Okay. All right.
God
I'm serious.
Almighty, Jesus!
I'm serious. I'll send it through the mail.
Actually, when I was, I guess I was, well, I don't know, maybe 21 or 2 or something like that. I bought it at that time. Again, I don't know how it is today, but there was a bourbon called Wild Turkey,
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
and it was 101, and I got the turkey decanter.
Uh huh.
I think it might be worth a few bucks today.
Well, now it probably is. That's right.
You can't get those things anymore.
No, no, you can't. I
In
was.
fact, my dad had a couple of bottles of wine as like a collection, so I had it. And some of the wine I don't drink wine, so I just have it on display because a lot of these kind of wines, these things you can't get anymore.
How about the missus? She drinks wine, right?
No, we don't drink too much.
Oh, really? Because
No, not really.
every woman I know seems to be obsessed with wine. They're all wine drinkers. They're all winos.
Yeah, I used to work I worked at a hospital as administrator of ORs, and I've seen operations and so forth. And Jesus, it's nothing like to see on a high definition monitor cirrhosis of the liver.
I bet.
That alone will sober you up.
I bet it will.
Yeah, look,
That's good.
it's
That's
it's
good.
it's pretty sad actually. So,
Hey, I got to ask you one more question before I forget it.
yes.
Before you leave, where were you during the disco era? Did you do any of that stuff?
No, not too much because I was knee deep in college. I had to study. I didn't have time to do too much of that stuff.
Uh huh.
See, I was going to graduate school for statistics. All the math and everything, it was by hand. We didn't use a computer.
No, well, you didn't have one.
No, and all the problems, all of them are all word problems, all kinds of crazy shit problems. So yeah,
Yeah,
I just spent hours doing through that shit. I had no time to do hardly nothing.
yeah. So you can probably relate to this. I lived next door to a guy who, for all practical purposes, was Mr. Wizard, and he was always running science experiments. there's scientists went back generations in his family, and so he had a son. He had a son the same age I was, so we played all the time. So, oh god, I'm gonna lose my train of thought. What am I talking about? I'm talking about All right, so oh fuck, what the hell? Somebody take me out back and shoot me. What am I talking about? I
Hit the
don't know
back
what
of
I'm
your head
talking.
like this. It'll come
I
out.
don't.
It'll come out.
I don't know what I'm talking about. Ah, ah. Well, I think we'll just leave it at that, okay?
It's like I'm saying, it's just amazing. I go back to the school with these kids doing all that. I just amazing because I say when I was going, you had no time to do hardly nothing. A little part-time job and
Yeah,
just go to school. I don't
yeah.
understand. I just don't
Oh,
understand these kids.
okay, now I remember the story. I remember what I was gonna say. Okay, so my friend's dad, Mr. Wizard, bought him in 1970. He got a brand new Texas Instruments calculator.
Oh,
Now,
sure, expensive.
it was $300 in 1970 money. It'd probably be about $2,000 now. It's transfer. All it did was add, subtract, multiply, divide. I don't even think it had a memory function. Yes, it
Yes,
did those things. So anyway, my friend, I think we're in ninth grade. He brought it to school, and school fucking blew up because they had no idea how to deal with this. Do you let them use it in class? You know, it's like because but it was so basic, so rudimentary.
yeah.
And you remember that because you're
Yeah,
that
oh,
old.
of course, I remember when I remember, when I first started going to school, because I went to Cal State Hayward. Now they call it East Bay, but
Uh-huh.
Hayward. So I remember going there, and my first class, it was some stat course, whatever. So I go in there and look around the classroom, and say, "What is that?" It was on the wall, a giant slide rule, right?
Oh, yeah, right,
Giant, right?
right, right. And, of course, I learned to use a slide rule. I don't remember anything about it anymore. Do you?
No, no, no.
I don't
Yeah.
either. Yeah.
I mean, it's funny because I tell these people, I said, geez, like the Golden Gate Bridge, for instance. Well, that was built with a slide rule,
It
right?
was.
Of
Hell,
course.
David, they went to the freaking moon with a slide rule. They didn't have
Yeah,
a computer for the Apollo missions. They
yeah,
had technically they had a
yeah,
computer had 2K of memory. It had the
yeah,
same amount of memory my friend's calculator had in
yeah,
1970.
yeah.
That was their computer. They didn't have a computer. They're just like, yeah. So now nobody knows anything.
No, but I think with the advancements of I think it's easier for people to do stuff. I don't think so much to get really under the covers to get kind of figure out or learn what's how things are happening. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't either.
Because all the stuff I did was quite rigorous, actually.
Yeah,
All the advanced probability and all that stuff. I mean, that stuff could be effing nightmarish.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, I just don't know how deep they go with this stuff. So getting back to that, I see all these kids that protest.
Uh-huh.
It's like, what majors are these people, right?
Yeah, really. I know. But where do you have the time to do this? I know it's
I
crazy.
mean, and it seems to be a lot of these kids are we'll say are certain kind of races, and other races you don't see because those other races are taking mathematics or engineering. They got no
Yeah,
time for that bullshit.
yeah. Oh, come on. Let's be blunt. It's the Asian kids who are like are mopping up. I mean, everybody knows this.
Well, hey, look at they're putting the time in
That's
like
right.
all of us used to do, right?
Exactly. That's right. They're doing the same thing.
But they're not any different than when we went to school. It's not any different.
No.
A lot of these kids, my feeling is they're not willing to put the work in.
Well, David, you know what the difference is? They're literally in a minority. They're the only people putting the time in, just like you said, you know? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, no, I don't begrudge their success at all. Like, you run with it. It's like, if you're willing to do it, God bless you. You
Hey,
know,
I take my hat off to them.
so do I.
They're not goofing off. It's funny. You see these videos of people going in robbing stores, hurting people. All these videos.
Yeah.
I don't see too many Asian people doing it because they're
Nope.
busy studying, right?
I don't either. I know. I've noticed this too. I'm with you. It's like,
Uh,
yeah,
I mean, it seems like there's only a certain type of people doing that,
yeah, it does. I agree.
and whoever's listening, you can figure out the rest.
Yeah. Yeah, well, then, 40 years from now, all the Asian kids will be running the world and everybody will hate them. It's like well, yeah, well, but you didn't put the time in, you
Too
know?
bad. You have a choice.
Right, right.
It's either pick up a book or rob a liquor store. Well, you
Yeah.
took the rob a liquor store.
That's well put, David. You're absolutely right. That is your choice. Pick up a book or rob the rob a liquor store. That's your choice.
Yeah, and
It is.
I mean, it goes back to if you want to make more money, what do? You get more skills.
Yeah.
And I don't want to hear this crappy all these minimum wage jobs, a living wage. They're full of shit. A minimum wage job is job training on the job training.
Yeah.
What it is.
People were not supposed to sustain themselves working at McDonald's. That's what not what those jobs are about.
It's basically like you're going to school and you're getting paid for it because you're learning how to talk to people, how to deal with people, how to take orders from a boss, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, David, earlier in the show, I was bitching and moaning about how the price on everything's gone up. Just today, I went to McDonald's. I wasn't very hungry, so this is what I had. I had a McDouble, I had a small fry, and I had a medium unsweetened iced tea, right? It's pretty much the smallest meal you can get at McDonald's. You know how much this fucking was?
Let me guess. I would say maybe $15.
$8.50. But the thing is,
I'm way off. Okay.
yeah,
I don't go to McDonald's.
But the real point is it was $4.50 about a year ago. That's the real point.
Yeah.
I was astonished. It's like, really? I don't know.
Well, to all the people listening to the show in California, gasoline is between $6 and $7 a gallon.
Mind-boggling.
$6 and $7 a gallon. I remember the day it was 25 cents a gallon.
Yeah, right.
6 to 7 bucks.
I don't actually know, David. In Northern California, do you have In-N-Out up there?
Yeah, fabulous. Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
No. That's like pretty much the best fast food hamburger ever.
Double, baby.
Yeah, holy shit. I know.
Dude, I can go for one right now, Jim.
I'm making you hungry. And I don't even know, are they 24 hours? If you go right now, can you get one?
Well, I can say that the ones I've seen around here, no. I'm sure there's some maybe in LA because they're from Los Angeles.
Yeah, right.
So maybe, but around here, I think maybe 11 or 12 o'clock at night. They close.
And now that you mention it, I think there's a very famous one on Sunset Boulevard by the Hollywood High School where I think they're open 24 hours.
Yeah, maybe it might be some, some. But anybody listening, go online and look at In-N-Out burgers. Oh my god!
Oh my god! That and you go to the Shake Shack. Do you have Shake Shacks out there?
Yeah, they have them up here, huh?
Now, a lot of people don't care for the Shake Shack. I like that too. I think that's pretty good, but it's good.
My mom used to like Five Guys.
Yeah. Okay. So the general consensus about Five Guys. The burgers are okay, but the fries are fantastic. They have great French fries.
Well, they hand cut them. They put them in a machine to cut them.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did that. You go to Five Guys, you'll see like sacks of potatoes. Yeah, they put them. They hand cut. Very very similar to like In-N-Out. They hand cut them. They put the fries in the thing and they pull the lever.
Oh, see, I don't even remember the fries at In-N-Out. All I remember is the burgers.
Well, next time you go there, just take a peek in the back.
Yeah, we don't have. They're not here. We don't have them here.
Oh, you're not okay.
I got to travel to.
Okay.
And I don't even know. Do they have them on the East Coast?
I'm not sure, but I'm not sure. But they have a few hundred stores, few hundred.
Yeah, I know on the West Coast. I know where you're. They're all over the place.
And I will say one thing. You talk about shopping and so forth. Do you have it back there? Do you have any Trader Joe's?
Oh yeah, I just went to Trader Joe's today. Yeah,
they are an absolutely fabulous outfit.
I agree totally.
They have plenty of help. The people to help you.
Yeah.
And all the people are very nice, very polite. Unbelievable.
Yeah. That's one of my wife
go to these other stores like Whole Foods.
Yeah.
It's a joke. Customer service is a joke.
Yeah. Okay. So here's my thing with Whole Foods. We have co-ops around here, co-op grocery store. I call them the socialist grocery stores because all the stuff's weird and the prices are really high. And then you go to Whole Foods is basically the commercialized version of that. It's like, I don't get it. It's like the prices are ridiculously high. It's the brands you've never heard of, And it's like, okay, so I'm supposed to think this is cool. Go fuck yourself. It's like,
Yeah,
Jesus,
right. Yeah, right.
I know.
It's funny because lot of the bullshit that they hustle organic.
Yeah, right.
So I joke with them. I say, well, I mean, I'm my age, and I don't think pesticides bother me yet, right? Who gives a shit, right? It's stupid, right? And you pay it three times the cost, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's 3 times the price, and you're buying weird shit. That's right.
It's
But
it's it's all bullshit. It's very
yeah,
similar to global warming. It's all bullshit.
it is totally. I totally. But you're
I
right
mean,
about Trader Joe's is cool.
you can almost tell these imbeciles. Let's do an experiment. I remember those days, in the 70s, right? In California, let's say in California alone, all uh, all gasoline engines are outlawed for 1 year. That means no cars, no tractors, no nothing, no airplane, no nothing, zero, zero. How's that going to affect the carbon emissions through the world? It won't do shit.
No, it won't. You're
It
absolutely right.
won't
It
do
won't.
shit. So who you're
Right.
just pissing in the wind.
Right. Civilization will collapse and nothing will be accomplished. Nothing.
But these people, as Mike would say, they got a mental disorder.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, it
Absolutely.
won't do shit.
I
It
know.
won't do anything.
No. Thank you for bringing it up. I'm serious.
It's sad actually.
I'm starting to think this might be my mission is to talk this thing to death. So
Well,
I don't know.
it's just ridiculous. It's sad because all of us are paying the price.
Yes, that's right.
Oh,
And
huge.
you know that their goal is to outlaw every goddamn combustion engine. I mean, that's what they want to do.
But they want you to go back to the horse and buggy, I
That's
guess.
right. Yeah. And no one will be able to fly except them and
Well, who
John
in the hell's
Kerry.
going to clean up the shit on the street? Right? You ever get walk around with a shovel, right?
I don't know.
I
All
don't know
right,
what to
David.
say.
I'm going to leave you with that, okay? All right,
How do
because
you think about that, Jim?
yeah, yeah, sure.
They can't do that because they talk about the cows, the farts, right? The farts.
Oh yeah, the farts, right? Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. That's right. We need less cows because they fart too much.
Well,
Fuck
but less
that
cows,
too.
what's In and Out going to do? Go out of business?
Yeah, right. I know. And don't get me started on this like impossible meat and all that sort of shit. It's like that's not meat. It doesn't taste like meat.
It's bullshit.
It's bullshit.
All right, Jim.
All right,
I will
all
let you
right,
go. I know
David.
you got something. I do appreciate it. Now I'll call you back
No, I
soon.
appreciate it. Thank you.
My
Thank you very
pleasure.
much.
Take
I'll
care,
see you.
Jim.
See you
Bye
later.
bye.
That's David from San Francisco. Good guy. And he's right. That all like, oh shit. You're gonna stop eating hamburgers. Yeah. Yeah. Tell me about it. Yeah. And your body needs protein, and then impossible meat shit, that's not protein. That isn't. All right. So we've actually gone, this is like maybe our longest show. I don't know what happened in the middle there. We dropped out for like maybe 2 minutes. So it appeared, well, we obviously picked up because David called. So, so I don't know what's going to happen with the file. I have to look, but I want to thank you guys for watching. Really, thank you very much. Like David said, I mean, our followers on Rumble are going way up. And if you want to follow us, I don't push that shit a lot because everyone does it and it's become ubiquitous and it's become like wallpaper noise. But if you're so inclined, press the follow button on our Rumble page. I'd appreciate it. Yeah. So tomorrow night, more blathering. Thursday night, Jeff Myers here. We got a guest for next Monday, but I don't want to say yet. Don't want to. So, and also one more time, we're taking next Thursday off. So we only got 3 shows next week, and we only had 3 shows this week because did I get sick? Is that what you want to call it? And what is this? I'm looking at this. I noticed this when I took a shower just before we started here. I got this red mark on my nose. I don't know what the hell's going on. It looks like rosacea, but it isn't. Like you care. All right. Okay. So here's my sign off. Good night, Uncle Donnie, wherever you are. And here's the end card. We'll see you tomorrow.